Thank you. So this slideshow today is just very much an overview, introductory kind of set of slides. And what I'm going to focus on is some of the medical side of things here. But just to stress, this is very much a journey. And weight loss is not simply about medications, it's about making lifestyle changes, nutrition, exercise, psychology, and there are a number of aspects that we will be very much interested in helping you with as you go through your weight loss journey. Now, as I said, I'm just going to go a little bit onto the medicine here. Now, I don't know if any of you can see that little fella there, but that is called a Gila monster. Now, that is where all of this weight loss drugs, all the sort of things you've heard about and read about came from. So that little fella has got a pretty nasty bite. It's got venom in it. I don't think it kills you, but I think it's pretty unpleasant, pretty painful. I think it often gets infected. Anyway, somewhere along the line, somebody had a look at his venom, the spit, and they found that there was a molecule in there that affected diabetes, and it actually made a really people with diabetes really good blood sugar control. It helped them, but also they found that people had lost weight. So that was interesting, and that led on to the rest of this sort of area of medicine, which really is a very much expanding area. So it all comes from that little fella, the Gila monster. Okay, so a little bit of silence here. So I'm not expecting you particularly to look at these drugs, but these sort of graphics, but it gives you an idea. The one on the left is what normally happens. Your stomach gets full, it wants to empty quickly. As soon as your stomach empties, your body, your appetite thinks you're hungry. But with some of the drugs that you've heard about, they found that they were acted at various points which basically switch off some of this mechanism. So food stays in your stomach longer, and also with some sort of fairly complicated biochemistry on the left of that slide, it regulates the amount of insulin that's produced. And again, that in turn helps regulate your brain to think that you're feeling full and you don't need to eat anymore. Now, if we go to this slide, which is just that graphic on the right, you can see semaglutide or Ozempic, which you've probably heard of, or Wegovy. They're exactly the same drugs. When Ozempic is for diabetes and weight loss, Wegovy is just for weight loss, but they're exactly the same thing. Wegovy just comes in a bigger dose, made by the same company. That works on one receptor. That works on something called the GLP-1 receptor, and it turns it off, basically. Now, this slide, Mounjaro, which is probably what we're using more of now, actually works on both of those two receptors and also on the receptor called the GIP receptor. So it works in two places. There is actually a third place, and there are drugs coming out to work on that as well. But for the time being, we'll just concentrate on the Mounjaro, and that basically suppresses your appetite, makes you feel full. Now, what does that do? Now, this study literally came out in May 2025, so I'm recording this at the beginning of June, May 2025, and so it's hot off the press. Now, there are a lot of studies that look at weight loss, but when they compared head-to-head tirzepatide versus semaglutide, so that's Mounjaro versus Wegovy, you can see on those graphs that you clearly lose more weight with the tirzepatide, with the Mounjaro. Mounjaro is just better because it works in two places. Okay, so when you lose weight, that has an awful lot of knock-on effects. Your blood pressure comes down, your cholesterol comes down, your diabetes control improves. It's a diabetes drug, so it's almost bound to. But additionally, there have been shown the longer term outcome, particularly with semaglutide, that you actually have less heart attacks, less strokes, and basically you do much better from a heart condition point of view. Now, as well, and again, this won't apply to most of you guys, but there are also benefits with kidney disease and some liver disease, and also possibly because of things like reduced blood pressure and reduced lipids. There are also improvements in sort of things like vascular dementia. So there's an awful lot of benefits that are found with this. Now, what's the bad news? The side effects. Now, as you can see there, blocking some of the text there, but essentially abdominal symptoms are very common. Okay, it's a drug that stops you eating, so it's hardly surprising. Okay, about a third of people, so very common, 1 in 3, will get one of or more of these sort of abdominal symptoms. Feeling sick, abdominal pain, occasionally some diarrhea, some acid reflux. Very, very common. Tend to be mild, tend to be moderate, and they tend to ease. And also we tend to increase the tablets quite quickly in order to, quite slowly, not quite quickly, in order to minimize those side effects. You start on a low dose. That's the way you do it. There are 1 or 2 very rare, and when I say very rare, less than 1% more severe complications, but basically most of the side effects are safe. What about the long term? We're not sure, is the honest answer. Now, exenatide from that Gila monster, which we saw around before, has been around for about 20 years now, and there aren't any long-term sort of side effects that we have found so far, but we don't know. So it is open, but at the moment it doesn't look like there's any long-term problems with it. What about when you stop? Okay, now this is another developing area. You can see, and this was another trial that came out in 2023, that when you stopped Mounjaro, your weight went up again. Okay, about 14% increase in your weight. Okay, now there are benefits even from a short-term weight loss, but one of the things that we are learning about improving is how to manage people off these medications, because you don't necessarily want to stay on one of them altogether, but it also emphasizes why you have to be so careful to ensure that people change their lifestyle. These drugs aren't a panacea. These drugs let you lose weight, but then you've got to be able to keep it off. And that's what we want to do here. We want to give you a balanced package of weight loss lifestyle management. Thank you.